Well, about 12 months ago, I started this podcast just to interview my comedy friends. And then once I saw those episodes were getting about 7 views, I thought, well, I better try and shoot for people that I grew up admiring as a kid. My favorite singers. I had the great Stephen Pearcy from Rat. My favorite video vixens, Tawny Katane, Bobby Brown. Then I thought, you know what? Wrestling has always been my number one thing in life. I had WCW heavyweight champ David Arquette. What you might say was the dark era of WCW. He was on this couch. But today, and the word legend is often overused because there are very few legends in the world. This man I have sitting on my couch, I used to hate as a kid because he was, without a doubt, the number one heel of all time. One of the top 5 wrestlers of all time.
Baby Jesus.
Even people who don't like pro wrestling, who have no interest in pro wrestling, know this man's name. He started MTV. He started WrestleMania. And these bad guys today could learn a lot. And he's also one of the greatest actors of all time. They live. John Carpenter proves that fact. Please, Inappropriate Earl listeners, put your dirty, disgusting, greasy hands together. And this might be the greatest person I'll ever have a privilege to have his ass on my couch, Mr. Rowdy, Roddy Piper.
Oh, thank you so. And I'm on your couch. I'm honored just with the amount of people that have had their posteriors on this particular bed. It's a very comfortable couch too. I must just let's do a second there.
If you've only known what's going on right where you're sitting.
You know, sir, I have all the respect in the world for you, but I do know, and I'll change chairs. Just give me a second.
Well, you better change jeans when you get out of here. Now, I had... I don't even know.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. You and your furry little creature there. What's your...
That is Lois.
Lois.
She is like my Frankie.
Did you know that the first Lassie was a boy dog?
I did not.
And they're like, cut. No, cut. Could somebody comb the hair over Lassie's nuts? Okay, go, action.
Well, can you imagine if that was done today in high def?
I tell you what. But anyway, as it goes in lore, I'm sorry, your name is...
This is Lois.
Lois.
Undefeated at Michael Vick's house, 28-0.
Nice.
She actually was abused by a man. So if you... No, who could...
you know who... I'm not up for that, but I'll pet you.
I could understand smacking a pit bull around, but I mean, you know, they can take it. Who's going to kick this dog? But so she's a little wary of men your size.
Okay,
which is why I'm constantly petting her, and she's honored to have you here as well. Let me just pick her up just in case. Yeah. We've had a few incidents.
I got you. Well, that's a lot of dog there. You know, I wouldn't want that coming at me.
She actually bit someone at WrestleMania. Even she was mad at how Sting was booked.
You didn't like the booking of Sting at all, if I remember correctly.
Well, what I have to do is, first of all, apologize to you.
Why?
And your fan base on Piper's Pit podcast last week on Podcast One Network. See, notice how I threw that plug in there?
I appreciate
Seemingly, that's a pro.
Very cool.
Mr. Piper.
Very cool, too.
I mistakenly said that Sting, and the wrestling fans called me out a very...
did they get on you?
They did. Sting actually debuted at Survivor Series.
Okay.
And then Fastlane.
Well, that happens when there's so many, it's hard to... You knew that it was someplace in there, though.
Well, you know, to be honest with you, Mr. Piper... I'm starstruck around you because
Stop it.
I am, though. You are a superhero to me. This is like the equivalent of me getting to talk to the Incredible Hulk.
Well, you're a Kennedy.
Yeah,
That's
but no one cares.
Breed. Oh, yeah, lots of folks care about you.
Well, I mean, the only thing that being a Kennedy meant as a kid was my mom would never let me drive in a convertible in Dallas.
Oh, baby.
Especially around libraries. But as a child...
yes, sir.
I hated you.
You did?
Because
how old were you when you? Wait a second now. Say hate. That's a strong word.
But you were.
When do you first remember this? Just not hate yet, just disliking me. Was it like dislike on first sight?
No. But you were such a good bad guy.
So at first you maybe liked me a little bit, no?
Not really.
No.
When I started liking wrestling, I, for some reason, always gravitated towards the SD Jones.
Nice.
His brother, whose name is, I want to say Tom Jones, but I don't know.
I wrestle. You know what? I bet you it is. I wrestled Tom Jones in Strongbow Stadium in Bakersfield, California, and in the ring, and loser gets run over by a motorcycle. And the motorcycle was in the ring, and Tom Jones... I started up the motorcycle and tried to run him over, and he got out of the way and headbutted me, and I fell off the motorcycle, and he pinned me, and this guy come in, Judo Gene Lavelle, and rode the motorcycle over me twice. Boom, 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 boom. So, yeah, I do know Tom Jones.
Well, they must have skipped that match during Black History Month on the... WWE Network, $9.99. See,
$9.99.
I just plugged them.
There you go. Well, you got to keep them rocking.
Well, listen. So I apologize to you and your fans for getting the facts wrong. I'm still riled up about Sting.
But you're riled up because he didn't live up to what you want to say.
Well, it's like I said last week on your podcast, and I want to get into how you would have done it differently. It would have made sense, I'm guessing. You've got this 4-month build-up to bring in the only guy who never came to the dark side, so to speak.
Yeah, I came to the dark side.
Went to TNA. That's even the darker side. Jesus Christ. Yeah. And you just had this tremendous opportunity to have that last, oh my God, what the fuck moment. I can't believe he's here.
Yeah.
He's the only guy left.
He was the last holdout.
Well, just, you've already brought...
The significance of it.
Yeah, I mean, you've already brought Hogan back 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
I think it loses its luster. As much as I love The Undertaker, you've brought him back several times, and it's okay. Flair.
Top pros, yeah.
And... really only Sting, and you might be able to say Goldberg, although I don't think he has near the fan base of Sting.
No, he didn't have that long in the business either to be put up against Sting as far as a fan base.
Yeah. So you had this great opportunity to introduce Sting to the younger fans who, I would say 25 and under don't know who he is. They think...
Which is... It's hard to believe.
That's correct, but I mean,
but I guess it's the times.
It's crazy to me that you could tell these little kids are like, "Who the hell is this old guy in makeup with the 27 bald spots?"
It's gone from 3 to 4 to 27.
Well, that podcast we did was last week. I mean, I'm sure a few sprouted up. And I'm a Sting fan.
I know you're huge Sting. You're a huge Sting fan and a huge Warrior fan.
But
let's look at the motives. Okay, wait a second. What if you compared this to? Did you see the Pacquiao Mayweather fight?
It was, yes, I watched it for free outside of Saddle Ranch. Thank you very much, Bob Arum. $100 for that.
So, what do you think of that fight? As far as let me rephrase the question. What do you think of that fight when you're saying bringing Sting back? It's an epic moment. In that particular boxing match, that in their careers, and those gentlemen, that was kind of an epic moment for them. Not kind of, is.
Oh, absolutely.
Was. So, what did you think of the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight?
Well, I like...
$200 million, guys, get.
Oh, money making. The Jewish part of me, which is substantial, is a big fan of that
help
fight.
me, please. I suck
Listen,
at that.
you made more money than I do. I mean, I'm just,
What you save?
by the way, I've made so much money doing comedy the last month. I'm going on rowdyroddypiper.com and buy an autograph They Live mask for $79, which is a nice bargain if you ask me.
Thank you very much. Damn right.
And a What Would Roddy Piper Do t-shirt, signature series.
Yeah, because of bootleggers. You know, we work hard to make them names. And then when they just steal them on us, I'm not mad at you, but unless it says my name on it from now on, it didn't come from me.
Well, and let me say this to the people listening out there. Mr. Piper did not ask me to show you what a class act he is. He said, what do you want me to plug about you? And I've got not much to plug other than my ass. So... But that's how classy this man is. Here is a living legend, and I ain't talking Larry Zbyszko. Please, let's not go there.
Oof, gotcha.
I mean, you are. I mean, come on. I mean, listen. Want to have a nice nickname? That's fine by me. But living legend is, it's a bit of an Abba Zabba stretch for that guy. Is he in the hall? He just got in the Hall of Fame. Who the hell?
I think he did. Just
he did
an odd Hall of Fame speech.
Well, he's an odd guy.
He is, but he's a good man. Larry's a good man. Do you know what happened?
No, I don't. Please, Mr. Piper, by all means.
On the history of Larry?
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be a poser. I do not know the history of Mr. Zbyszko.
So allegedly.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Allegedly, it is. Bruno Sammartino had taken Larry under his wing. And Larry had drove him crazy. And Larry did do the work. And Larry Zbyszko was a rocket jet going up in the sky, rocket speed, with Bruno Sammartino and Mr. McMahon Sr., his blessings and behind him. Forgot what I was talking about.
Larry Zbyszko, interesting story. I can't believe
I'm there. I'm almost there.
It's only an hour podcast, right? We got to get going.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding.
Get up. Thank you. A lot of those steel bendel folding chairs.
It's all right.
So boom, he's like a rocket ship, and so then they do the turn, where all of a sudden Larry Zbyszko turned on Bruno Sammartino, which at that time, I don't know that you could do anything worse. What happened with Larry happens with a lot of us, is he made a business choice, and because they ended up going to Shea Stadium, and this is what started pay-per-views, the whole North and South War, which is now WWF, then became WWF, WCW, now boom, WWE. This is what started that whole war, this incident right here. I just never thought about it. Eddie, that's another, I think. So here we are. Pick Me Up is Larry Zbyszko and Bruno and Shea Stadium. They did $500,000. At that time, you consider it a house show.
That's crazy.
Okay, so they're doing the garden selling out, like, holy cow. And they go to Shea Stadium. It's got so big because of Larry Zbyszko turning his back on Bruno. Bruno's a fine man. A fine man. I mean, whoa. All my respect. He outranks me for sure. And
I don't. I must disagree with you, Mr. Piper, respectfully.
Anyway, so now they're rolling, and Larry goes, "Hey, listen now. I want this much money for Shea Stadium, or I ain't going out." Allegedly. And coming from one that's been blackballed 3 times, whatever was worked out was worked out, and it went away. Larry Zbyszko would have, that's why he got that Hall of Fame. That's what happened to him. And that's what, okay, I'll tell you why. And when Crockett heard about Shea Stadium, because the territories would end in Washington, D.C., and that was McMahon, and Crockett picked it up to Norfolk. That was the line. Well, when they did the 500,000, Crockett and Ole, I was right there. That's where the dog collar match came in. And it was the South. And it was literally, I was there. Davy Crockett, Jim Crockett, direct descendants of Davy, the Davy Crockett. Right. And they said, all right. And they put on this thing called Starrcade, the very first pay-per-view in history. And that's what started that whole, okay, you know, I won't ramble on.
No, Mr. Piper. You can ramble.
Just a little history there.
No, we're going to get into the current scene, but I think my fans don't really know a lot about like pre-WrestleMania and you know.
Wow. Yeah, that's where all the damage is done.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know,
getting ready for the game. You know?
Of course. I mean, right now I've got a match with you and Mr. Perfect.
I thought it was Schultz.
No, but that's you broke in. Not broke in, but you were early in your career managing Dr. D. David Schultz?
And Orndorff. Because, you know, my left ear, I lost a hearing in the dog collar match. And I came to New York and they went, it's got to heal, make him a manager. And then yeah. I'll tell you what happened. So they said to me, I'm in the garden. I don't watch it. I don't watch the others wrestle for a reason, because of this reason right here. So they said, okay, go out. You got Orndorff. So it's a garden boom. I go out. Orndorff gets up on the apron. I get up on the apron. Orndorff takes his robe off, gives it to me. I throw it down to the guy that's always there, takes the apron and does stuff. He gets into Orndorff gets into the ring. I get boomed down on the floor. I'm on the apron. I say, ring the bell. Come on, bum, bum. I stay there the whole match. I almost have a riot. Well, I come back. Well, this is what you're supposed to do. There's Captain Lou Wizard, Grand Wizard, Freddie Blassie. He went down with this man, whatever they did, took his robe and came back. I'm not coming back. Do you know how hard it was to get here? Don't be stupid. And then they went, holy cow. We need, to hell with his ear. Get him. That's exactly how that happened. Just, I was into it. Let's go, banging the apron and trying to pull his leg. And you know, it's just Madison Square Garden, just 24,000 Puerto Ricans with knives. They get hot fast. And, they'll get you.
And for the record, the great Grand Wizard is not Tom Metzger from the KKK. He's a legendary manager. We don't want to confuse the younger fans out there.
What do you like to read?
I like to keep my biographies real simple. I read Chris Jericho's biography, which was great. I really liked it because I was kind of a WCW guy.
Gotcha.
I really, I think their marketing strategy originally of getting the name guys like Hogan and Macho Man over was like, oh, I'm going to watch over there now. So that mid-90s WC. And when you came in, and of course, The Warrior, which might have been the worst rematch in wrestling history, could have been great. And I want to get into booking.
Okay. All right. Go.
Because I think... I know I don't want to bore people with Sting talk again, but I think I told you last week on your podcast how I would have done the Sting angle. I didn't think the run-ins were necessary. And by the way, when I say run-in, I use that term real loosely. I mean, I've seen
a lack of velocity.
Well, I mean, when Nash looks the fastest out of the group. Listen,
got them long legs.
Let me tell you something right now, Mr. Piper, and this is when my blood's starting to boil again. My 5 favorite wrestlers of all time, in no particular order, are you, the Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude, Scott Hall, and Ric Flair. I mean, that to me is like I could watch your guys' matches, promos all day, all night, and maybe put Kamala in there on a special exemption.
Special exemption.
I don't want to see Hall and Hogan just waddle to the ring. I mean, Sting's 56. Let's keep this match going, and then the DX running down. they're slower than Hogan and Hall. X-Pac, stick to the porn business. I think you have DX and NWO all turn on Sting, and then Goldberg's music hits, cleans house. You give Sting the cheap win so Paul Levesque can say he didn't beat me, and you build up a nice build towards SummerSlam. How do you... How would you have booked Sting?
Boy, that's a really difficult question for me.
Given who he was wrestling, I mean, I'm assuming you can't make him look... Because I don't know anything about the backstage politics. You do. I'm assuming... no finish was going to be given to Sting that made him look dominant over Triple H. Am I correct?
That no finish would be...
I don't think they would make Sting look like...
stronger than Triple H.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. I think, boy, let me just be honest with this.
Please do.
There's a lot of cards there. There's a lot of cards. We'll just use the word cards. As far as different, sometimes people look at when you look at a match, there's different things you're trying to get out of it all at the same time, but they don't necessarily pertain to each other. So the company WWE brand would want Triple H to come out shining brighter star than Sting. Yes, I believe that. However, do I think that the WWE brand would like go out of their way to construct a match so Sting nah. They do a lot wrong, but they do some things right. And there's no, I don't think so, because of the age also and the circumstances. They didn't need to tell him to slow down.
Right.
It's what I'm getting from you, and make sure I'm on topic here. What I'm getting from you is this: would they try to? They want the Triple H to win over Sting. They want it to triumph because it's it's great for business. The WWF's always killed the WCW, from old wounds. Everybody left to feast of themselves in that war, or whatever that line is. Are they that? Do they think that way? Yes. Yeah. They're all taking, but they'll take a shot to get someplace higher if they need to. So just to tell Sting to have him not do something for them just to get over, I don't think so. But I can give you an example where they did.
Please do.
Is I'm doing that's humor. That's fucking humor.
This is why you're on the show, baby. I don't want the Brooklyn Brawler. I got no questions for him or Iron Mike Sharp, right. Other than
yeah. Here's an instance where I started doing promos on Hogan, and boom, and they're all I'm open season. You see, hey, what the fuck you want to say? I don't give a shit. And boom, and the kilt and the the fags and the girl, whatever. Yeah, bring it on. My turn. Yeah, and get you. I got a Rogaine for you, yeah, and and I get some blonde paint and a cat. What do you mean cat? You can't say that. I just said it. What do you mean I can't? No, don't talk about his hair. What fucking hair? There's no hair. That's my fucking... No, I said he talks about my kilt being a dress. No, okay. It was like... Now, let me justify by saying this, because I'll give you what the old school rule is. And that happened to me where I got beat up for saying something. The guy named Paul Jones out of Mid-Atlantic, and he would have been maybe in late 40s, and I'm coming up brash, and I did an interview every time I passed the cemetery. Every time Paul passed the cemetery, two guys chasing with shovels, and he comes up to me and takes me away for 30 minutes, proceeds to tell me, who the fuck do you think you are, one? And two, this is a business. How could you justify your business by calling me an old man? Justify how that's going to sell tickets. And 3, if I'm not great, when you beat me, you don't beat anybody great. You're that stupid. You're just going to degrade a guy, and then when you beat him, it means nothing. Half hour of that speech. Okay, so there's those underneath, and that's what you're asking. Would they take those underneath cheap shots? With the example with Hogan and I don't know. Am I wrong back then in 84 to do the hair thing, considering what he was representing at the time to the label, to the brand, to the company? I guess not.
But that's what made people hate you. Like, how could this?
Yeah. But it's for them. It's too much hate. Oh. Kind of. So I was, there's the only time I think I was censored.
Okay.
Okay. So going back to, how would I brought Sting in and all that?
Say in a perfect world, you're given full Triple H comes to you or Vince or whoever. I'm assuming it's those two who are the head dogs that say, listen, you book them however you want.
First of all, I wanted to know that I'm not necessarily up. I've been working and haven't had a chance to see anything that's going on. And anybody that answers the bell, I got all the respect in the world for them. I'm not a judge. I'm not qualified.
You are today.
I'm not afraid.
Oh, no, not at all.
But thank you, Jeff. Okay. I didn't really see anything that was going on, but I would have probably...
Basically, Triple H is heading this group called The Authority. They are, for lack of a better... phrase, kind of like the Four Horsemen, NWO, bad guys. They got these two bodyguards who they're about as useful as Virgil.
If you're in Watts.
Well, listen, if I'm ever going to a wrestle show in Watts, the end's coming.
I hear you. So what were you just talking about?
They're like the bad clique of the WWE right now. They are making everything hard on the good guys, and I think when they started doing these Sting vignettes, which was just basically him walking around in a graveyard. It could have been a little more creative, in my opinion, but hey, he was kind of being brought in almost as his WCW character, the vigilante. I'm here to save the day.
So what did they do to match Sting with Triple H early on that they did? What was the decision that made that match?
Well, here's how it goes. And I've got the order of the pay-per-views correct. And I don't want to, I'll gloss over these things because I know you don't have all day to talk about the current product. Believe me, who the hell would want to do that? I'd rather watch two girls in a cut backwards. I mean, Jesus Christ, 3-hour Raw. You can't. Well, so anyway, long story short.
Dry humor, but
real dry.
Great
drier than a porn star's vagina after 5 p.m.
That's dry. That's
real dry. I've seen one. When this girl had kids, she probably thought they were on a water park ride.
Okay, well.
So you know how Survivor Series works. There's a great match between two guys who I think are awesome. Seth Rollins, who is the new heel of the company, and Dolph Ziggler, who is a very talented wrestler. And all of a sudden, Triple H interferes. I think if Seth Rollins lost, the Authority loses power. So that's why he was about to lose. Triple H interferes. He's about to put Seth Rollins over a lifeless Dolph Ziggler for the win. Scott Armstrong's the referee, who's like the bad guy referee, like kind of a Danny Davis.
Okay.
All of a sudden, the lights come out. Out walks Sting. Puts Triple H in the Scorpion Death Drop, then reverses the positions where Dolph Ziggler now is pinning Seth Rollins, and that set up the eventual basically Sting interfered to cause the Authority their jobs.
And the Authority, the bad guys.
Yeah, and then at Fastlane, same thing. Triple H and Sting in the ring, not fighting, just a promo, and it set up the WrestleMania match. I want you at WrestleMania.
Does it?
Yeah. Exactly. Is that it?
Well, I also heard that they only had X amount of dates.
Yes, I think Sting
to work with.
I'm not involved in the WWE financial department, but I believe, and I'm so scared now that your fans are going to like jump on me. Female fans can feel free. I've seen some of your female fans. I've seen 2 of your female fans walking around. And I thought it was Hakeem and Earthquake. We'll get into we'll get into Hakeem's jive character in a few minutes, but it was. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. It left me limp.
Okay. Well, let's see. You got 5 shots at it. And I guess one of the shots is WrestleMania. That gives you 4. So what do you do? I don't know the vignettes.
Very mysterious. He didn't speak at all. Even in the promos at Survivor Series and Fastlane, he literally didn't say a word. He just pointed with his bat. So they were, you remember him in WCW as the quiet, didn't talk a lot.
Yeah.
As the Crow, anyway.
Yeah. Is that the guy he wants to be? Was he the guy, the Sting that Sting wants to be? The Sting with the brush cut and the Sting that's a crow.
Well, that's what they led you to believe.
So who's the other Sting? You got a Sting with a brush cut, and you got a Sting with a crow. Is there a Sting in between?
Well, what is Bischoff and Russo running this?
No, but I asked that question. What one of the problems is? This is one of the first rules of pro wrestling: never change your name,
right?
Ever. As soon as you change your name, you change your credibility. You kill your credibility.
So you mean like when
I'm Roddy Piper Roddy the Piper from day one.
So like you're talking about one man gang, then goes into Hakeem,
Sting, Crow, Ric Flair. Right. Hulk Hogan. Roddy Piper. Guys that change, you kill your credibility instantly. And then credibility defined is money in your pocket.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's my first take. And I don't know. I'd maybe look at the brush cut Sting and, go, well, I understand this a couple years ago, and the Sting is the Crow. I may have tried to find somebody in the middle. It's because I know he has a range and he doesn't mind showing it. It's the only reason I can talk like this about him. Oh. I would probably find one in there that maybe did talk in whatever way, and don't give them either one. Give them something brand new with the root of whatever the combination of Sting is, instead of bringing back the Crow or it's almost an insult to do with the brush cut kid.
Well, I don't think they can do that one.
No, but the idea is this, that they just went, well, we've got, you asked me how to do it. And I'm going, well, you got these two, and well, if you'll split, then the fans accept them that way. I can't split. I can't come back as Herman Goring or whatever the guy's name is. Then find somebody in the middle there, and that would really, I think, get the fans' attention. With your 4 shots, you could...
Right.
Yeah, because it's new. I think I might have done something like that.
No, I get it. I just, to me, and I'm just an idiot fan. I mean, I am, though. I mean, they buried him with no...
So why do you think so? Why do you think?
Well, I think it's 4 different types of burying. Now, to me, Triple H always says he'll do what's best for business. Now, being Jewish, I know business. Having him lose in the fashion he did with these horrible run-ins, and it's like the writers and bookers just said, fuck it, we'll just turn the match into a clusterfuck. That kind of disrespectful to Sting and is what might be his only WrestleMania match. It's like, give him that WrestleMania moment of, because here's the thing, and I don't want to talk too much because I want you. This is about you, baby. But Triple H's character the Monday after WrestleMania, win or lose, is the same. He's Triple H, the bad shyster, schemer, married to Stephanie in real life, which I think makes fans even hate him a little more. Sting is, kind of an unknown to WWE fans of a certain age, which is a large part of their audience. So I think it's better business for T-shirt sales, his DVDs, and anything with the Sting name on it if you have him beat Triple H. Because now he's like, that's the guy who beat Triple H. I want to know more about him. I want to buy the history of Sting or whatever the DVD is going to be called. Now it's just the old dude in makeup who lost to Triple H. Who the hell cares about his history?
Then you know what I would have done? I know exactly. I would have let Sting, I would have propelled his butt in there when Triple H was there and a piece of metal in his hand and just have him, Sting club him like a baby seal, Rodney King his butt, beat him with an inch of his life.
Yeah. So you make...
And as the good guys come to save him, bad guys will repel him butt back up there and you don't see him again.
Right. Then you're like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Boy.
Who was that?
Yeah. And what a beating.
Yeah.
That guy bloody.
And younger fans would have been like, Sting, let me look Wikipedia him. Let me go buy his YouTube videos.
Let Triple H get in the ring with another guy and he keeps looking around scared. When he doesn't see something, come down and beat the dog out of him again.
Like one of my favorite Sting moments in WCW was you had a match against the NWO. I forget. I want to say Buff Bagwell or one of them. And of course, you're totally carrying the match. I mean, your back must have been broken from carrying that match. And here we go with awful run-ins. Virgil, Scott Norton, I think Horace Hogan was floating around.
Horace, holy cow.
Hogan comes out. Long story short, they're beating the shit out of you. And then all of a sudden, from every corner of the arena, all these fake Stings start coming from everywhere. And of course, the announcers are really hamming it up. Oh my God, there's Sting. No, wait, there's Sting. Finally, 20 Stings are getting thrown out of the ring, beat up, and Buff Bagwell hits a Sting, and he does this little muscle pose, and it was the real Sting. And then you and Sting clean house. I would have liked to. I don't know. God damn it, Mr. Piper. And then to have JBL shitting on Sting the whole match. Now, maybe Vince is telling, hey, say this now. This isn't Starrcade, brother. This is the big leagues. You've never wrestled in something like this before. Totally shitting on the guy's 30-year career. Well, JBL was only given a push because he was giving Vince stock tips. Why not give Jim Cramer a fucking belt? Mad Money guy.
Arquette.
Well... Can't blame Vince for that one. I think maybe Vince planted Arquette over there. So that's shitty number 2, the announcing. Number 3, and I know you're closely aligned with this woman, and it's a segment that I actually liked. 20 minutes after this match, you've got Triple H in a suit and tie looking like he just got out of a fucking day spa with Ronda Rousey, Stephanie. Great segment. But that's totally saying, my match with Sting was so inconsequential that I'm here now. He's in another angle 20 minutes later. Sting's probably huffing on an oxygen tank.
So why? What do you think? Is Sting coming back? Is Sting going to be in the next WrestleMania? Why would they do something?
Well, here's the 4th way they buried him. the next Monday night on Raw. Raw's a goddamn 3-hour show. You can't give Sting fucking 5 minutes. Cut out one of those shitty diva segments or I don't know, Mexican History Month tributes. I mean, you got Tito Santana running around in a fucking sombrero from Juarez, Mexico. He's probably from fucking a Bellflower down the road.
Tito Santana. He's a good man.
Great man.
He's a good man.
But my point, and we're going to stop talking about Sting and get into some other things, is then they put Sting on after Monday Night Raw is over on the WWE Network, which nobody's fucking watching. I'm sorry, Vince. Sorry, baby. It's just... And you put him in a 3-minute, I don't want to say sketch, but segment with Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas. Everyone listening to this sounds like owls right now going, who?
Who's Bo Dallas?
Exactly. So
is
it's
that a
like...
country and western singer?
Yeah, I mean, why not get Iron Mike Sharp from Winnipeg to fly down?
Iron Mike Sharp. Oh, he was a good guy. We'd all be going. He'd be skipping. He'd get there early, and he'd get all his stuff on and his trunks on, and he got lotioned up his skin, and
I bet
started like doing like squats and push-ups, getting ready for the match. And then, boom, he'd have his match on like third or fourth, and Iron Mike could get out. Boom, he got that brace on one arm, and he'd go back where his skipping rope is, and he'd start skipping again. And we'd come, wrestle, we'd shower, we'd be finished, we'd be leaving. There'd be more, he'd be skipping. Iron Mike. He was a good guy. He skipped a lot. Different guy, but a good guy. So, yeah.
So, that's pretty much all the Sting talk. It's just like you totally ruined the guy's character. I mean, at least put him in a segment, maybe setting up. Put him something like I told you last week on your podcast, Piper's Pit on podcast one. So don't fuck around. Gee, I'm a little cold. I wish I had a Roddy Piper signature T-shirt on right now. I know how to work. I know I'm a mark. I know what time it is. At least, I thought maybe have Randy Orton come in with the Legend Killer shtick, and then you could have Sting say, "Well, you never beat me."
So why do you think that they had Triple H go against Sting and not somebody like Randy?
Well, I'm assuming Paul, sorry, I don't mean to get too real here, Mr. Levesque. Gee, what a shock he was involved in the Bret Hart screw job, too. I'm sensing a pattern here. If I could find a way to fucking get him in on the 9/11 shtick, I would, too. But anyway, was that the WWE corporate jet that was in Tower 2? No, I'm just kidding.
It's a hologram.
Yeah, tell me about it. You know how many guys who worked for Paul? I wish he was on that flight, but... I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm assuming, even he must know that, okay, this is the last guy we can bring in that, is I mean, there was mainstream media covering Sting.
I see. Bottom line, this is what you're saying. And I think that in 2020 is always hindsight, of course. To sit down and figure all this stuff out is incredibly difficult, especially if the egos and all the different channels and divisions or levels of people that this is sifted through, and trying to get a proper source of communication with just one person that understands the business. But I think what everybody's saying is, hey, he was Geronimo. He was the last guy holdout. Should have brought him in, and his war bonnet and the whole thing, and a bunch of cowboys should have died. And, and at the end, I don't know, maybe led Geronimo right away into the hilltop, and then just as he was going to go over the hill, Triple H can shoot him in the back with a Winchester, and he'll fall off his horse, and away you go. As a heel, you always just want to need the last shot, and then, you got to regroup it. But I agree with that. I agree that, I would have taken Sting. I would have put him, feathered him up, flocked him up, had him down there looking like the guy that he has become. He's put in the years and the time, and he's done a couple other things that I respect him for as a man. It's just not my place to bring up. And
absolutely.
But so he's earned it. And what you do is, if the company was doing that, then I don't think that that's helping the company. I don't think that's helping anybody. The wrestling fan is disappointed, and when the wrestling fan is disappointed, they look at the product, they look at the people that were in it, and each little time you scratch it, gets a little deeper. So I don't think that it was the best thing they could have done for the WWE brand in the universe. No. Come on, give it to the guy. Put on a big white horse. He'll be stupid.
Yeah, just, to me, and, I know I probably approach the wrestling business as just a fan, and then there's the business side of it, which I don't like to think of it as a business. I still like to think it's real. Not like the characters.
Certainly.
So I thought, why not? I understand Triple H, you want to look better than the WCW guy, but just give him one moment. And then beat him at SummerSlam. Beat him at another pay-per-view. Get
the
your
idea of the sledgehammer and the
that's Lois's cell phone ringing.
Queen.
That's all. Listen, you want to take the call right now? You can take the call. Do you want to take the call?
Just keep on rolling. Yeah.
Okay, so we got
I know who it is.
Okay. I've only let one other man take a cell phone call on this podcast, and you might know this man, you might not. The legendary UFC fighter Don Fry.
Oh, it's a good friend of mine. He's
who was
great guy.
One of the first guests on Inappropriate Earl.
Really?
He was the only celebrity I knew, to be honest with you. Sorry, Don. My bad.
He's a great guy and a great martial artist.
Oh, he was in I think the first couple UFCs where guys were literally walking to the octagon with hoodies from their closet. Like there was no sponsors back then. It was just guys who like to fight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's right in there, guy.
So I love you, Don Fry.
Yeah, me too. But so, just wrapping this thing up.
Absolutely.
It is, put him on the white horse. Let him come in and, in his eagle feathers, swath the valley, because then you're giving your fan that's coming there is obviously a WWE fan. And you're giving the reason they come is to see Sting. Give them Sting. Cheating them out of the grand production that they're capable of just doesn't make any sense in hindsight. And as far as like the run-ins, if you want to call it, I'm not a big proponent of like the sledgehammer and the bat, and I don't choose that as a way to.
You didn't need weapons.
I just don't see a 12-pound. I don't want to,
Well, I did like the Shawn Michaels super kick to Sting because I think
absolutely.
Like last week, I told you, to my knowledge, and I'm sure your fans will get on me if I'm wrong. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, good fans.
You think I was Lee Harvey Oswald getting one?
Fans.
To my knowledge, that was the first time Sting, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels had been in the ring together. So that was that's kind of a what the fuck moment.
See, there's good. That's a great moment right there. And I'm sure I hope the fans appreciate it as much as you do.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm just always curious to have someone of your caliber to talk to, about booking, and because I think booking and how certain slots are made for wrestlers, fans don't know that. It's like the only other angle that's ever really bothered me is like why is when Warrior came to, and you were there, came to WCW. Yeah. For his rematch with Hogan. And I thought, wow, this is a great storyline. Only the second guy to cleanly pin Hogan. I think the first guy sitting about 6 feet to my left. Thank you very much. Sorry, Terry Bollea.
Choked him out.
But okay, that's a cool story. A rematch. And it was clear Warrior was just brought in to basically job to Hogan. And it's like, what? To me, the better angle would have been you have Warrior beat him again. And then you just have Hogan chasing him, and you could drag this out for 6 pay-per-views.
But sometimes, though, with respect to also the creative, their end, which, I'm not on that end. But when you're taking a chance, if you've got a guy that you fired and parted, what, I don't know how, I'm wrong there. Whether you got something happened where they had a party in other ways, WWE, FG, and Warrior. So when you bring a guy like that back, and one, if you put the strap on him, how are you going to get it off him?
Right.
So there's a trust issue. And two, maybe it's not worth it. We'll make one big cash and get out. It's not worth the maintenance.
Because you don't, I think what you might be referencing, like a situation that happened when Medusa had the WWE, it might have been WWF at that moment, the women's title, and she showed up on Nitro and dropped it in the trash.
Garbage, yeah. Yeah, now she just got put in the Hall of Fame. I just watched it.
Well, I will.
There, it shows you can't do what's wrong in our business.
Can I be honest with you? And this is kind of an area I want to get into. And if you want me to cut this out, I will. Okay. Because I respect you so much. I have been doing stand-up for about 15 years, and I would say that I've known or lost 10 friends of mine to various ways, and I know you've lost a lot of friends, probably too many to count. And when Medusa was giving her speech and mentioned Rick Rude's name, I started crying because it was like, wow, it's like, and I was watching a match the other night between I think it was Big Boss Man, Rick Rude, and someone else, and realized that the only person still alive was the referee. And like, how do you when you look back and see clips of some of your friends who you've lost in the business, do you just you've lost so many friends, do you just try and remember the good times, or?
Oh, man. It's guys look at that two different ways. I know one of my brothers came up to me, and somebody had just passed away, and I don't go to funerals anymore. Adrian Adonis was the last funeral I went to, and I did the eulogy. Guys in my group were saying, hey, if they're dying, they're dying. They had to let it go because it's taking them with them. I was in the Marriott in Miami on the 8th story, and there's a guy named I love it, Kerry Von Erich. Oh wow, what a great guy, man. Well, we laughed a lot, and we played a lot. He was a go-getter, and the dumbass went on his motorcycle to get something and got in an accident. He was just driving with flip-flops on, and he lost his his right leg from under the knee down. And so when he came into New York, he came as a Texas Tornado and had these white boots on there, tall, that went right up under the knee, and frilly things. And he was still so good, through jaw clicks and everything. But like in the shower, he would just like go in the shower with his boots on and stuff. And I wrestled in the Sportatorium. For sure I was 16, because they were in high school too. So we got along fine back then. And my job back then was not only to be first match on the card, but for Fritz Von Erich, I had to date the fire marshal's daughter. That way, fire marshal would let more people in than the fire code.
And by dating, do you mean it's something with an ing ending?
Saying hello, yes, sir. I'm 16. I'm so scared. We're in Miami, Miami Marriott, and so when we come in to the room, what we do is we open the door and we put like the chain lock or the hard bolt. We leave it on so the door doesn't close, because when we're laying on the bed over the room service and it comes, we're too lazy to get up and get it. I just bring it on in here. A lot of hotels, And we had done that to the door, and he didn't mind sharing a room with me and taking his leg off, his foot off. It didn't bother him, didn't bother me. This one time, I don't know how to, I really don't know. But we went outside on the ledge of the hotel, and the window was like you pushed it out from the bottom window. It's hard to get out there, and and then the wind slammed the window shut. And I remember the wind being really hard, and it was about maybe, I don't know, 10 feet, 10 inches, the ledge, 10, 12 inches. And you had to push hard to keep you back so it wouldn't blow you off the building. I'm not sure how long we were there for.
You just try and remember.
We were just talking. And Big Boss Man and Mr. Perfect come down the bowl, get a beer or whatever. And, of course, came in and saw us. What the hell you doing? And da-da-da-da. And, got us both in. And out of all those guys, I'm the only one alive.
Yeah, no, that's a great story. So you just try and remember them, in the fun times. And
yeah, Adrian, I was driving down the road I was his tag partner when we were 22 years old. Called us the 22s right here in the Olympic. And he was an orphan. And he really thought I was his brother. And I didn't understand it until after he passed. But I did the eulogy in his funeral. And one time we were riding down the road, 80. He's a tough guy, man. He'd train so hard, but he just had one of them pear bodies.
Yeah.
And he'd eat tuna fish. How do I look, Fife? He had stretch marks on his chest, look like the upper New York State road map. And he loved me. And one time he said in the car, he said, man, when I die, I don't want people bawling and crying, throw me a party, And boom, he's dead. And his wife, I used to say, I was one, I guess, I used to tell him I love him, He tell me he loves me. And his wife, later on, I found out, what are you guys doing? So you guys banging each other? I love you, I love you. So I did the eulogy, and during the eulogy, when, and in all respects to this family, of course.
Of course.
It was a closed casket, and the family were behind the drapes. And I said, hey, he said, throw me a party, and this sound came out of his wife of pain that I couldn't imitate at all. I wouldn't. The sound of true pain.
Right.
And I guess the question was, how do you feel about them when they go away? And so many times he saved my life. He did this for me. Adrian, we're in Poughkeepsie. And in Poughkeepsie, one day you do like 3 weeks of television. Like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all the toilets are flooded. Shit's all up and down the wall. Earthquake, mountain microwave, tugboat.
Oh, my God.
Oh, mother, dear. Baby Jesus.
Did they have special toilets made?
No.
Oh, boy.
You had to, you just did what you could do. And in the afternoon, we did, I don't know, hundreds of promos, hundreds. And I'm having a tough day. And I remember because we're on the floor where the fans would be, and there's a stage in Poughkeepsie. And I was leaning against the stage, and I was having a fan of rage or whatever. And AD comes up to me and goes, Pipes, damn it. He says, you know what's wrong with you? He says, you need to buy a house. You never had a home. You need to go find yourself a home, buy a house. And he was right. I went and bought one. And I had already my second child by that time. So, he did that for me. I wouldn't have known what to do if Keith hadn't said, hey, you goof, go buy a house. I was lost. I bought a house, and all of a sudden, everything fell in order. How do you repay that?
Right.
What do you say? What do you say to Carrie, or what do you say to somebody, the reporters and people will say, I was also in the steroid trial, biggest steroid trial ever, and I'm the littlest guy on the roster. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happened during there. I could tell you sometime, but
oh yeah, for sure.
It's like when these people that come and the wrestlers did this, you talk about Kerry Von Erich that way, the criticism, but all the miles Kerry did in Big Boss Man and Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
All the heart, and sometimes people like I've had people, if they didn't save their money, it's their fault. Yeah, whatever. I understand you. I respect everybody. I sure saw them work pretty hard.
Oh no, I didn't mean to make you sad. I just no, I just it's
letting you know. You were asking me like what kind of connection? Pretty strong.
Because I think comedy and wrestling are actually very similar in the mental toll and the stress and
it takes a huge mental toll on you.
And I mean, I'm just glad comics don't have to work out as much as you guys do.
I think that's quite astute because I think it takes a much heavier mental toll that wrestlers have that hasn't really been identified by them.
Right.
Yeah. There's some. Well, I got the honor of coming to the Comedy Store. Jimmy Kimmel, Sal, like I was going to do this one-man show on Broadway. I'm still going to do it. But they said, well, put him in a comedy show. Get him some stage time. Like his Comedy Store, which is like the best place. Every great comic comes out of there. And that's where Earl comes out of. That's why he's great. And
it's like the Stu Hart of comedy.
Hell's Angels, my Hell's Angels frat club of comedy.
Yes.
And I love it, But like stage time, baby Jesus, I've had some stage. All right. What do you want me to do? Just get up there and say something. And like all the comedians, all the pros, they were so kind to me. And all the people that they thought I sucked, and I did. I still do.
No.
But all the comedians were like, come on. I guess they gathered, you got to know the secret whistle or something, all against the wall. And they'd clap for me, and they'd howl, and like, you babied me through it. And I fell in love with them.
Yeah, but you put up with our dumb questions, which I think were led by me asking you who took bigger shits, Mark Henry or Hakeem, and who was blacker, Mark Henry or Hakeem. It's crazy.
Brutal. And they're coming. The comedians. They're not afraid to go there.
But you guys
that's what we got in common.
Are literally larger than life to us. Like when you and Sergeant Slaughter came to the club, and it's like, Jesus Christ, that's Sergeant Slaughter. I hated him when he turned Iraqi sympathizer, and when you brought Hacksaw.
Hell of a man.
And I walked up to Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who's like one of my favorites, and said, "Hey, when you orgasm, do you go hey?" I'm like, Jesus Christ, am I crazy asking this grown guy who's got his wife and 4 kids right now? So it was and still is a true honor and
thank you.
I know that you have to get going in about 5 or so minutes. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I know.
I'm here, bud.
What did you, just to get a lighter tone, did you enjoy being a heel or a face better?
Oh, I'm a born heel.
Okay.
I hate being a babyface. I'm not a babyface. I'm a born heel.
Because it was forced when you're so nice in person, but, well, I mean, listen, you're nice to me, which is all I judge you on.
No, I'm like literally a born heel.
Right, which I don't like it when they try and make a heel a good guy. Like I think they kind of tried to do it with Brock Lesnar, and it's like he's nowhere in your league as a heel, but he's a pretty good heel just because of his massive size. Yep. I don't like it when he's the humble face. Come on, man, be a bad guy.
Yeah, I understand that because sometimes I disappoint people.
Oh, you never disappoint.
When they come, they expect that, and put a couple bucks down there on the table and steal my wallet. But you almost, what's interesting? You almost disappoint them, and then you kind of get hurt.
Right?
Like, oh, I'm sorry, I let you down. It's weird. Wrestlers, maybe I don't know what the comedians do, but wrestlers, like you're on the television. Back in the day, right in their face, like right in there. You almost got in their living room. And there's a little more intimacy to the relationship with maybe comedians and wrestlers and their fans.
Right.
It's a little, a little closer walk with thee or something. That
because I want to believe that you're from Scotland. I want
I
to.
am.
Well, you have Scottish descent, but technically, I mean, in a technical sense, you were born in Canada.
You know, because they needed a way to civilize the earth and find out who's where in the earth. And so I was born on a place in the earth called Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, which is like the coldest place on earth, 100 below with the wind chill. Not one day, for months. And then, like when I was 4, I caught my arm in a washing machine. Then, like when I was 4 or 5, they took me to an Indian reservation called The Paw, Thepas. To this day, still one of the toughest Indian up by the Northwest Territories. And then a bunch of other towns, a bunch of other places. So, like, I don't have a home.
Right.
I don't have a place I'm from. But if they want to say I'm, then. But am I of Scottish descent? Came 5th in the world. I was over there. Came 5th in the world playing the bagpipes. How's that?
It's good enough for me.
No. It's a mix. It's a mixing up question though for the fans.
Well, I mean, as a kid, I wanted to, and I've said this a few times. I don't like to repeat too much, but I really wanted to believe that Kamala was some savage animal from Uganda.
If you've heard and you turned me on to it, actually, this latest song, I think he is a savage.
By the way, you check out Kamala's rising song on YouTube by Music Charts called "Push It." I'll let you interpret what that means.
I think he did a great job.
No, but so when I met him once backstage at the Olympic Auditorium, he was talking to Kimchi, who I think you said, and looking back now, it was Harvey Whippleman. They motioned for me to come over to them, and I was like staring at them. I mean, because Kamala was wearing an outfit like you are right now, like khaki pants and a collared shirt, and he looks at me and said, "What's your name, son?" I'm like, "What are you doing speaking English?" And Harvey Whippleman, he might have said his real name, which I don't know if it's Harvey Whippleman, probably not. I'm like, "What the hell? Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "I'm Kimchi." I'm like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "Oh, this is not what it." I wanted to believe that Hakeem was really some jive-talking soul brother, and that vignette they did with him in the streets of New York was, Jesus, that might have been the most racist angle I've ever seen in my life. But was there ever an angle that you and the boys in the back, whether it be, I mean, you were always portrayed, I thought, in a respectful way, but was there ever an angle, if you don't want to mention names, or the angle where you and the guys were, "Ooh, this is too much"?
No. Oof.
Couple times? Would you just want to leave it at that?
Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Because you get rolling on something, and that's one thing. I just have a big argument before I came here. I'm used to, if I see somebody says, let's do a podcast. Okay, turn it on. Let's go there. Let's go. As opposed to keep talking about it.
Right.
I forget what I was talking about.
Well, I was just, I mean, some of my favorite, I almost feel bad for liking some of these angles, but, when
when you got too far.
When Adrian Adonis played a, let's just say an effeminate character.
He's the mini Pearl.
Which I think you had... at
the flower shop.
The flower shop and Piper's Pit were kind of battling,
yeah, he was great. He looked Easty. He was the ugliest girl.
Great tits.
Holy cow. And he had that mini pearl hat still had the tag on the hat. Oh, baby Jesus. I remember busting it up with a baseball bat and ended up breaking the bat. And when I broke the bat, I know I was in the moment, but I even thought to myself, Rod, you're pushing this a little far. But I think that's my point is, things that have gone too far, you really don't know that you've gone too far till you're already there. There's a thing called white heat. You don't want white heat.
And what's white heat?
White heat is too far. White heat is the way you get, people get hurt. You get to cause a riot. Red heat's fine, but you get into the white heat situation, and that's a deadly, destroying Oof.
Like when Sergeant Slaughter was, I think he said when he became the Iraqi sympathizer, he was getting death threats.
Yeah, that's borderline there. There you go. If you if Sarge at that time went in the middle of the ring and burned the American flag, that's white heat.
That's double white heat, I think.
You're working with a professional here.
Well, I think, right.
It's like where, boy, you got everybody's attention, but for all the wrong reasons.
Well, it's like that, and once again, I'm so scared of your fans now. I might
good fans,
Roddy Piper fans be getting this WrestleMania wrong, so don't jump on me on Twitter. I believe it was WrestleMania 18 when the WWE had almost an Al Qaeda like heel. I want to say his name was Muhammad Hassan. I might be wrong on that. And he had this great manager, Davari, who was a great short term. I thought he would have had a better career arc. They had him
a great kid.
Has a kind of an Al Qaeda type figure that was a little much, I thought. I'm like, well, this is too much. I mean, I even thought Eugene, Eric Bischoff's retarded cousin angle was, all right, this is bordering on, it's a little nutty here.
Yeah, white.
Right, yeah.
There was a Eugene.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would hope not. There was a young lad challenged, challenged, I'll just put it that way. And his name was Eugene. And I just, when you said that, I've never heard it until right now.
Well, he basically, Jesus Christ, please, Piper fans, don't jump on Daddy here. I'm a fan, you idiots.
Yeah, maybe I ought to back right off here.
And I'm 6'2", 205. Think of me as the comedy version of Rick Rude. You sweat hogs. No, just kidding. I think they had him playing a special needs Eric Bischoff. I don't know if Bischoff was behind this. It sounds like a Vince Russo character.
I don't know.
All right, now to wrap up this podcast, and I could talk to you for hours. I hope you come back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, I mean it's I can't even really put it into words to have literally a legend on my couch. I mean,
I want it.
I mean,
you let me in your frat house.
Yeah, but you're there's no superlative, and people are gonna probably think I'm kissing your ass here. It's just this is like someone who's an acting fan having Robert De Niro on their couch. It's like. I'm just trying not to be disrespectful by talking about, Mark Henry shits in front of you. I thought it'd be fun to wrap up the podcast. I'm going to mention a name.
Okay.
Maybe we'll say one sentence, two sentences.
Okay.
If you don't want to talk about what they're just going to come to my head.
Sure.
And then we'll plug some things. And Buff Bagwell, get your mind out of the gutter, please. Get you at your prostitution ranch in Vegas. By the way, for those of you, I'll plug Buff Bagwell's thing here right now. It's $2,500 to sleep with him for the night, $5,000 for the week. I've just added an additional. Yeah. So I want to pay him $20,000 to stay away from any wrestling ring. Jesus Christ. All right, so now we're going to www.rowdyroddypiper.com, the signature T-shirts. I just bought all four. They take PayPal. Buy this man's stuff. You guys sit there, all you wrestling fans, say you're a big fucking fan. You love him. You love him. Help support his kid's college fund.
Thank you.
And he's not asking me to do this. Go and listen to Inappropriate Earl, rated on iTunes. I have nothing for sale, to be honest with you. So I can't even make money off you guys yet. But I just bought a They Live mask, $79, autographed. Just He doesn't need it, but it's a show of respect for this man giving his body, heart, and mind 35 years in the business so you guys could wear a Hot Rod t-shirt and say, hey, beat up the Brooklyn Brawler for the 100th fucking time.
The Brooklyn Brawler.
Brooklyn Brawler, that's the first name.
Good kid. Paid his house off. Did what he had to do. Good kid.
Perfect. Dr. D. David Schultz.
Bully. Just a bully.
Okay, well, I think that sums it up. James Hellwig, Warrior.
Was always respectful to me. I never had a problem with him, nor his interviews.
Well, gee, if you can understand him, I don't know.
His interviews were for little kids.
Right.
So, therefore, you can hard to do any wrong.
Well, listen, his interview where he's talking about tear down the cockpit doors, dispose of the pilots, he was on to 9/11 before anybody, and that was about 92. So, listen, you could sit there and say his promos didn't make sense. That one did. So, Rumsfeld and Bush.
Nostradamus shit going on.
I mean, really, that's 92, I think. Maybe even earlier. That was earlier in the 80s. He was on before Bin Laden was even on the radar. One Man Gang / Hakeem.
Decent guy. Decent guy.
Okay. Earthquake, John Tenta.
Real good man. Huge heart. And he, I believe, is the only white or whatever you call it, sumo guy that's never been defeated.
Oh, wow.
He was a big time sumo wrestler. And I don't know how, Caucasian.
I guess Asia, Polynesian, I guess.
I'm not sure how you do that. But in any case, he was in the sumo, huge, couldn't move the guy. And he asked me to actually manage him.
Oh, really?
For real, yeah, I thought I was, I'm headed to the ring.
Andre the Giant.
Oh, man. What a great man.
That's all that needs to be said there. Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Fire dancer and a cliff diver and beautiful spirit.
Now, I know I'm breaking my own rule here in terms of just one sentence on each person. Do you think that Piper's Pit with the coconut and stuffing the bananas in his mouth, did that put you over the top as the heel?
I think that Frankie Williams got me recognized, and Jimmy Snuka put me over the top.
And for you younger fans, Frankie Williams was, and I don't want to be disrespectful to him, would you say he was a jobber?
Carpenter.
Right, which is...
mid-card, loses all the time on TV, just does it part-time. He's going against guys who are doing it regular. And, he's out there, he loves it, but not good enough really to make enough money.
Right.
But
his look was just
he's a little chubby.
Little. He looked like someone in see on The Biggest Loser, episode 2.
A lot of freckles for a Puerto Rican gentleman.
I mean, how many podcasts do you get a Frankie Williams breakdown?
No shit.
No wonder my numbers are low. A couple more names and I'll let you go. Bad News Brown.
Bad News Brown. A little bit of chip on his shoulder. A tough guy.
Wasn't he a legit judo?
I think he was
Olympic?
Olympian. He was in the Olympics in judo. Not sure how he did, but you got to do pretty good just to get there. And I think that he misread me. Okay. And I took him in a shower one time and spoke right straight at him, heart to heart. Yeah, we straightened it out.
Oh, great. Stu Hart.
Stu Hart is what it took to get the business where it is today.
Right.
Yeah, he's different breed of man.
So I've heard.
Yeah, and you have to kill him to stop him.
Like I'm breaking my own rule here, and I know we got to get things going, but like when you see a WWE show like Tough Enough, which is basically the reality show to see who wants to be a WWE wrestler. Do you think anyone who goes on that show could last a day with Stu Hart? That's tough enough.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Okay, no problem. Big John Studd.
I loved Big John. He was a gentle man that worked really, really hard. He's a big boy, and he's my friend.
And I know we already talked about this person, but he's such a legend to me. The golden boy, Adrian Adonis.
Adrian Adonis is one of the reasons that I have the honor of sitting here right now, as he helped me in life, like for real. And I love him with all my heart.
I got a couple names that may get your blood pressure going a little bit, but I get accused of being an ass kisser on this thing. We'll start off with Vince Russo.
Vince Russo, I've talked it out with Vince Russo, but I wasn't a Vince Russo fan.
Few were.
I was opposed to too much power and too little knowledge of the basics.
Okay.
But at the same time, the guy did something. He had some kind of success. But no, thank you.
No, I think that's the best way to describe him. He did something. I'm not sure what, but it was something.
He did something, and it slipped in that attitude era where it was like tits and ass and, what they call crash TV, which was called hot shotting. But, and you can hot shot something, but if you hot shot something, you need to have right under, like Dory Funk and Jack Briscoe, right underneath it coming up. And then all those people that when you hot shot it for, they see Dory Funk and Jack Briscoe go to it, and you bring them back in the title match, then all those people will stay. If you hot shot and don't do that, all those people will not come back the next time.
Right.
So that's the flaw I see in him.
All right. And now I'm going to throw a couple more names, and then you will be leaving the West Hollywood domicile of Earl Skakel.
That'll be sad.
The legendary, a couple managers, Colonel De Beers.
Oh, Colonel
the mustache, as I'm.
Oh yeah, Easy Ed Wiskowski. He, good man, solid. Just wanted to get in there, have some fun. He was good enough, big shoulders. I think he was a football player. Good man.
Okay. And now I'm a little older than your average wrestling fan. The Grand Wizard.
The Grand Wizard. I didn't have a lot to do.
Okay.
With the Grand Wizard. It was a different clique than mine.
Okay, no worries. That's perfect. Now, I had heard this man had once stuffed your bagpipes with toilet paper so they would not play properly. Kind of a rib.
Oof.
I don't think I even need to say his name to you, but I must, for my younger fans, classy.
Freddie Blassie. Yeah, classy Freddie Blassie. He was, Freddie... here's where you got guys that Freddie Blassie, when he walked around town, he was dressed immaculate. His hair was in all the right places. He had a suntan. He's the only guy I ever saw when he suntanned, he actually spread his fingers. So they were tanned also. That extreme. But, back in the southern states and stuff in Freddie's time, he drew a lot of money and he got a lot of attention and he worked hard at it. He competed with some of the biggest, Buddy Rogers and Gorgeous George. Buddy Rogers was a bad man. And Freddie Blassie had a little Buddy Rogers in him, as did everybody in that. And this is an example of when I came in, you probably heard the story, so I'll just cut to the quick, is when I came into Madison Square Garden the first time, they told me to my face they didn't want me here. And by the time the night was over, they had sabotaged me enough where they had taken me, prime case of let's take the kindergarten kid to school. And I came out there with my bagpipes and, they shoved paper in my bagpipes so they wouldn't work. And I came in a limousine and literally said, don't call us, we'll call you. And left in a cab. And I fell, in front of everybody. This guy, 19 years old, going to the garden with the tree. And so they were really happy to hear that I fell down so hard. I never said a word. I never said a word to anybody.
Because if you did, it would have been just repercussions backstage.
More just to be a man about it. You kind of judge sometimes on some of your moments, and it's like lesson learned, and it really hurt. It hurt me a lot emotionally, but more than that, I had worked so hard to get where I was, and it brought me back economically. Right. People laughing, whatever he's doing, and that was a stage in my life where if you pulled a gun, I just keep coming.
Right.
Yeah, well, not afraid of anything. I'm to a fault.
Gonna need a gun to stop you even today.
I don't know, but it's to a fault where this is a subject, and I won't talk about it, but that's really never really addressed. It's that underbelly that people don't talk about.
Right. No, we want. Well, I got 4 more names for you, and I want to. They may cause different degrees of emotions. Well, no, I try to be respectful.
Thank you.
The one, the only, Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect. It's his dad, his first one to knock me out.
Larry Hennig, right?
Larry the accenting, baby Jesus. Mr. Perfect was a total surprise. He was a great athlete. He could do anything. He's always joking around, always had a smile, and always up to no good. And to take someone away, I mean, not even in the prime of the talent as far as he could have got. His talent pool hadn't even been tapped into yet, and to lose him so at that point, that was a rough one on everybody. But I think if I just had to sum it up, I'd say he's perfect.
Absolutely. Just amazing man.
Yeah.
All right, now the final 3 names. The one, the only. Mr. Gorilla Monsoon.
Well, it's called the gorilla position for a reason. And probably half those guys don't even know why.
I don't know if we want to know why.
The gorilla position. And when Muhammad Ali was getting prepped to fight Antonio Inoki, they put Gorilla Monsoon in there to just make sure that nothing happened. Gorilla Monsoon was, he was a policeman, big, strong, knew what he was doing in there. And so they needed, but like almost everybody in the building did.
Right.
So you need something kind of, and so finally though, right where just before like the lineup, you're about to go on, who's on deck, that's called the gorilla position, because he's the only guy who go, get that Piper here now, damn it. I want him now. And he would make sure, because when you get to the gorilla position, you better have it together, because, you didn't load your gun. It's too late. So that's a position that a lot of guys, probably still today, they're supposed to be there, and they kind of do a Passover, kind of check it out. It's very, high pressure, but as high pressure as you want to get. You're surrounded with monitors and different people doing their function. It's very cold. It's just all of a sudden there's a shoot, and then there's 24,000 people on the other end of the wall, and you see this big raw sign. Man, you should see what it looks like back there. I'll tell you, they don't have luxurious seats like you. He lost his son, Joey Morella. And, I never mentioned a word of it.
Right.
And was always at the gorilla position. He's in that league of extraordinary gentlemen. I don't know how you're that good, that tough, you're that smart. He's all those wonderful things.
All right. And the final 2 names, maybe 2 men who are polarizing, influential to you. I don't know even who to say first, but I think I should leave the second name last. So I'll say this man's name first. You and he basically started WrestleMania. The rock and roll MTV connection was never going to happen as big as it was without you and this man, Terry Bollea, otherwise known as Hulk Hogan.
Sum it up. Let me see.
I know it's hard in one sentence, two sentence.
Okay. Strictly business. If I had to sell out Madison Square Garden, I'd pray to God and I'd say, "Hey God, I need somebody about, I don't know, 6'5", put a bunch of muscles on them and tan them. Maybe, I don't know, yellow hair, make them stand out. And I'll take it from there. Oh, have them take vitamins and say prayers." That's what I would have got.
Yeah.
People talk about his limitations as a professional wrestler.
Not any worse than his acting.
It's better. I like to say that when he's here.
Well, I wouldn't.
We were all, there was Nash, Hall, Flair, Hogan, myself. We were kind of over it, and they, I don't know, in a waiting area, we all kind of accumulated, and there's, they had a bunch of these words on papers, and people were looking at the formats, and Hogan started with, and Piper, who wouldn't take a fall and wouldn't make any money. And Nash is going to... And Nash says himself, he's like, and then Nash comes in who can't work a lick. It was a beautiful moment. It was a beautiful moment of honesty and self-deprivation. Hey, the guy carried the ball. Was asked, the guy said he could carry the ball. They gave him the ball, and he carried it.
No, he did. And
takes a hell of a man to do that.
Just before we mention the last name, just to, I know we've talked throughout this podcast about people going over certain people, helping the business, what's best for business. What I loved is when he gave the torch to Goldberg in the Georgia Dome, Atlanta, because that made Goldberg's character like, wow, he beat Hogan. So, and Hogan didn't have to do that. So I know he gets a lot of shit for his politics and having his friends, but he did do some good things. But a Thunder in Paradise was not one of them. I'll tell you that much right now. All right, the last name, and this man means everything in the business. He's hated, loved, polarizing.
We're a lot alike, him and I.
Right.
There's and he knows it, and I know it. One time, early on, I did a lot of really stupid things because of the way that I was raised as a rebel, supposedly. Where I remember him one time coming in with just jeans and a black leather jacket on, and he's like, "Hey, let's buddy around," kind of thing. And then I make a joke about it where he's reached out several times on long life conditions. And Vince and I are very close. I like him very, very much.
We were talking about Vince McMahon for you younger.
Oh, yeah. No, I love him. Are you kidding me, man? Big ballsy guy. He's not tougher than I am.
Well,
but
nobody is.
No. It's one of those, I can say it kind of things. But the truth of the matter, we're two peas in the but parting the money, we're two peas in the pod, on a lot of things. I'd go to them they'd throw three piper. You got to do three Piper's Pits today. Yeah, okay. And I'd never know who the dang guests are. And all of a sudden, on the run, when you're doing live TV, you're doing it on the run. I'd go, Vince, I need something. Knuckles, Gorilla, got it. Boom. We had that kind of a creative workmanship, and God bless him.
Well, no, listen.
He's allowed us to talk about all this stuff.
If it wasn't,
and he loves to hate me.
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have liked wrestling as a kid, and his father.
And his grandfather.
And I'd like to also thank Vern Gagne for giving competition to Vince.
You betcha. I wish the WCW was rolling. I wish Vince was rolling. I wish they had a big company over in Europe rolling, down South America. Competition's good.
Well, I agree, because I think right now it's basically the WWE can just say, listen, this is a product. You don't like it, don't buy it. But they better watch out, because people are going to start paying attention to what they're saying to us. There's UFC, and they have their own version of their network, which I think cuts into WWE's network. So Vince, if you're listening to this, to Triple H, listen, there's no hard feelings. You kicked me out of a limo once. You'll never remember it. That Staples Center. It's me, him, Stephanie, and my girlfriend at the time. And he's like, young man, who's your favorite wrestler? And I said, the Ultimate Warrior. I was asked to leave the limo. He didn't kick me out, but he kind of blew me off. So
I got you.
This is beyond an honor. I know how busy you are.
No, it's fun. It's been fun. You know how much I love you.
But I know you're a busy man. Your schedules, you've got 7 managers, 8 assistants. I mean, you're going somewhere. Where are you going tomorrow?
I'm going to Nashville.
Yeah. It's so you didn't have to come the day before you travel.
Love you.
I love you. I've never told another man I love him other than my dad.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've got 2 brothers. I like them, but no, I'm just kidding. I love them too.
Sure.
So people can go to www.rowdyroddypiper.com.
You betcha.
And
got, all kinds of. We just got the They Live masks in. And
I just bought one, $79.
Did you really? I love
Absolutely.
You.
I know. You think I'm going to say after we're off air, hey, man, can you hook me up?
I would.
Your kids can't go to college on hooking up daddy.
I'm very honored. I'm going to tell my little one when I talk to her.
Some Jewish guy named Skakel just bought about $300 worth of stuff, so that'll pay for 2 books probably.
I love it.
And then are you Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah, I'm R_Roddy_Piper on Twitter, because somebody stole my real name. Serious. How can you take my name and I got to use this one? In any case, R_Roddy_Piper.
On Twitter, is it? Or on Instagram?
Real Roddy Piper.
All one word.
All one word. Thank you.
And
Facebook, Roddy Piper.
Facebook is Real Roddy Piper. Follow him. Instagram, like his pictures. That helps bump the numbers up. But please go to rowdyroddypiper.com. And once again, I want everyone to know this. I listen to a lot of podcasts, like Gene Simmons will plug his bullshit. By the way, Kiss and WCW. Jeez, if that didn't sink it, I don't know what did. The Demon character. We'll have another podcast just to talk about that shit.
Hello.
Sting getting rescued by RoboCop, not realizing RoboCop can't fucking move. The match took fucking 4 hours because RoboCop couldn't get out of the goddamn walkway in time. But that's now Shockmaster's coming back. I didn't even get to Sid Vicious. But
broke his leg.
I can't. Well, who the hell's idea was it to have him jump off the fucking second rope? The guy had never jumped that far in his life, other than from Arn Anderson in the hotel room with the scissors. That's a good way to wrap up this podcast. I literally, someone who is a legend, 35 years in the business. This podcast could take 8. This could be like the
there's a lot of pot.
The Ultimate Warriors Destruction DVD.
The long one.
8 fucking disc on how shitty the guy was. Then 2 years later, it's how great he is. So the hypocrisy of the wrestling business. I don't know how you lasted 35 years in it.
41.
41. That's even worse.
I gotta take a pee.
Yeah. So listen. Inappropriate Earl, iTunes, SoundCloud, Piper's Pit podcast on the Podcast One network. Please check it out. I love you guys. I love Mr. Piper.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.